Hello, good afternoon. I believe everybody is well and you can hear me. My co-host, kindly confirm if you can hear me.
I can hear you on this. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Thelma.
I can hear you too. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Justice. Mathew, can you
Mathew
hear?
here. I
Yeah,
can hear you loud and clear.
great,
Good
great.
afternoon to everyone.
Okay, so we can start. We can hit the ground running. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, and welcome to today's space conversation. I'm so glad you could join us, my listeners. I'm so happy. I'm really, really happy because today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday, and I'm so glad. My name is Lambert Anofrimpong, your host, and today we are going to dive into a topic I believe many of us can relate to. That is breaking the hustle culture. Before we get into this, I just want us to have this quick house rules so we keep this space open, mindful, and enjoyable. I just want us to stay muted unless you are called to share your thoughts, and also be concise when you speak so we can hear as many voices as possible. And most importantly, let's be mindful and keep it respectful. Different perspectives are welcome here. Now let's talk about hustle culture. Whenever we hear the word hustle, many of us immediately think of that Rick Ross anthem. Rick Ross, that American rapper, goes like every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling. It's catchy, right? It's powerful. And for a lot of people, it has become a soundtrack of ambition. The idea that if you're not grinding every single day, you are somehow falling behind. But here's the catch, guys. While hustle has its place in our daily lives and becomes a culture, it can also become toxic. What do you think, guys? It glorifies you being constantly busy, you're constantly grinding without rest. And that often comes at a cost. That burnout, stress, declining mental health, broken relationships, and even reduced productivity. Guys, let me share this interesting statistics with you. Do you know that WHO, according to their reports, over 745,000 people die each year from overwork, particularly from stress-related heart disease and stroke? Whooping 745,000 people, guys. That's not just numbers. That's life's cash up because the hustle never stopped. But I just want us to know this. Why are we choosing this conversation? Because we want to challenge the norm that says that business is equal to success. The more you are busy, the successful you become. And we want to ask this question: that can success be redefined in a healthier way? And can we build a culture where ambition and balance can coexist? And where rest is seen not as laziness but part of productivity? That's what this moment, this afternoon is about. We're going to hear from our amazing speakers. They are going to share their experiences and their perspectives. But it's also about you guys, our listeners. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear your thoughts and your questions. But we'll get there. I would introduce my speakers. And the first speaker is a good friend of mine. We exercise together. He's a gym partner and we keep it out. And that's when I realized he's a real guy that needs to come to this platform to share his experiences with us. He's currently working with FO Region Office for Africa as international relations expert, and also he is their program. He is their operation consultant. Let me put it that way. The unfortunate part is he's a Chelsea fan. He doesn't support the best club. You're supposed to support us now, my friend. Yeah. Justice Kumordzi, welcome to this experience conversation. We are glad to have you here.
Thank you, Lambert. Good afternoon to our listeners.
Yeah, the second speaker is someone that I really admire. She's so amazing. She's always breaking the glass ceiling, shattering it, always wearing her superwoman cape like nobody's business. She's into the legal profession. She's a legal practitioner. She's also expert in governance. She draws, she paints, she does a lot of things, and it amazes me so much. I really disturb her a lot. I'm like, Thelma, the way I'm stubborn, if if I have any legal issues, you are going to bail me out and there's nothing you can do about it. I always disturb her a lot. And she's an amazing woman. Thelma Boateng, welcome to this space conversation. We are so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, and thank you for having me on this.
Thank you so much. And the next speaker is one of my friends that I truly admire. He's the life of every party, guys. He likes having fun. When it comes to party, just watch him. But here's the catch. He's someone who doesn't joke with his job. When it comes to his work, he's very firm, very assertive, very meticulous, and he's an amazing guy. When it comes to project management and evaluation, monitoring and evaluation, he's your guy. He's an amazing guy who is also into the creative space, particularly when it comes to photography. He has a beautiful wife and loving kids. So if you want to have your family in future, watch his socials. You'll be inspired. He's an amazing gentleman. His name is Mathew Ayong. Mr. Mathew, welcome to this Space conversation. We are glad you're here. Are you ready for us?
Thank you, Lambert, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. Here to interact and learn. And I hope you have a very good day. Thank you. Ready for us all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Let me start off with Justice. Justice, you being an international relations expert, what does hustle culture mean to you in African context, given that we glorify overworking? Tell us all. What do you think?
Thank you so much, Lambert. And greetings once again. Um, it's a very, very interesting topic, one that I'm really passionate about. As we all know, in our African countries, African cities, hustling isn't just about ambition, it's about survival, especially in the space we are where we have scarcity of jobs, unemployment, safety nets being very thin. It looks like putting in crazy hours is a mark of determination. But over time, that survival hustle has become romanticized. Today, staying up all night is more like a badge of honor. But here's the question I keep asking. Have we started confusing being busy with being productive? Because when we look around, people we look up to, public figures and entrepreneurs, they love to tell their story, especially about how sleepless nights is the cornerstone for their success. And that sends a very clear message that if you're not exhausted, probably you're not serious. But how does this compare with other parts of the world? And I like comparison a lot because I'm a student of comparative politics. It's interesting to know that when you go to Europe, it's quite different, especially in France, for example. They have a 35-hour work week and the legal right to disconnect after work. Legal right to disconnect from working hours. In Scandinavian countries, there is mandatory 5 to 6 weeks of vacation, not by law. And when we go to North America, where the hustle is also high, like in Africa, but there's a trend where the new generations, the one we call Gen Zs, are pushing back. They are demanding flexible schedules, remote work, and hybrid, especially after COVID. And I mean, they are getting results to the extent that companies are now competing for top talent based on who can offer better work-life balance. And I mean, in Africa, we still tend to reward visible efforts, longer hours in office, especially as we have most people who are self-employed and also in the informal sector, like artisans, I mean, detached from the 9 to 5 formal work people. People stay late, to meet demands and without rest. And there's the topic of discussion. How can we find balance between hustling and also having some rest. I mean, Lambert shared some statistics. Let me also add a couple. I mean, it's true that the WHO estimates about 750,000 people die every year from heart diseases and stroke linked to working more than 55 hours a week. And also, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents report that driver fatigue is a factor in roughly 20-25% of serious road accidents. Drivers are actually sleeping on the road because of the session. And I mean, we look at the time we were on lockdown during COVID. We were able to function without being in the office. We were able to have some seamless balance in terms of productivity and also rest. I'm not advocating for entirely remote work because there are instances where people who have been working remote are not resting. What we are advocating for is how can we find rest in the hustle. So I would like to round it up with a saying from Henry David Thoreau, who was asking the question that it is not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about? And that's the challenge I want to leave us with. Are we busy creating sustainability, or we are just proving we can suffer than the other person? Let's find time to balance our work with some rest. Yes, thank you so much, Lambert. I'll leave it here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Justice. This is what I learned from what you said. I never knew that. When you go to Europe, you mentioned that they prioritize efficiency and balance. That's amazing. And you also said that North America. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah. You also mentioned that North America, they value mental health and flexible work. And let's zoom in into Africa. And that would let me come to my dear Thelma, because with this comprehensive analysis from Justice, he mentioned that Europe prioritizes efficiency and balance. That's good. And North America, sorry, they value mental health and flexible working. Africa endurance still earns more respect than efficiency. And that is something that is alarming. So me bringing it to our African context, that young professionals, they often juggle multiple jobs or side hustle to survive. What does this say about our governance and economic system? Because you are in a legal profession and you can tell us more about that. So what do you think about it?
Thank you very much for your question, Lambert. So I think that this is a very interesting conversation. Right? I'll begin with my understanding of the hustle culture. Okay. There are different definitions. Someone may say that hustling is having grit, perseverance, or being. Our conversation today is not about that kind of hustle. Our conversation today is about that endless striving at the cost of your balance, well-being, relationships, and all of that because of survival. Right. So I would like to say that firstly, juggling four balls at the expense of your health, your relationships, and your well-being shouldn't be normal. Right? Constantly overworking one job to the point of constant burnout should also not be normal. We say sometimes that we have to have multiple sources of income. This is true. So a distinction has to be made because multiple sources of income usually come from both active and passive sources, right? And most of these income sources are actually passive. Okay, I want us to ponder over this. I'll get back to the multiple sources of income later on, but let's ponder over the multi-layered nature of the hustle culture. To me, the hustle culture is not really just about only the economic and governance systems. Something but a fear, right? I think that is a multi-layered issue because it's a system and mindset issue. Okay. So now for the systems, we will talk about economic and governance systems. And then for the mindset, we go into things like ambition, your personality, right? You may be a perfectionist, and because of that, you may push harder than you ought to. at the expense of your well-being. It could be trauma. It could be something you've gone through before and you never want that to repeat itself. And so you push yourself beyond what is humanly sustainable. It could be privilege. It could be that you have economic privilege or you come from money, right? And you want to fill in certain shoes, or you want to make sure that a certain status is maintained, or you want to prove yourself. And it could also be that you don't come from a background of privilege, and so you need to work harder and push harder so that you can provide that for those who come. So in that sense, both coming from privilege and coming and vice versa can push you into the hustle culture. It can come from the need for validation. It can come even from your chosen career path. Maybe you decide to be a neurosurgeon, and just by virtue of your profession, you need to push harder. Also, in my experience as a lawyer, my classmates and I finished secondary school, and then they went ahead to begin their careers. Right now, a lot of them are managers and have climbed the rounds of the career ladder, right? But some of us are now beginning essentially because I had to do an extra 5 years, and this is the story of many people too. So that added pressure forces you to push yourself more beyond what you normally would or what you should, what you ought to, right? Again, something like even pretty privilege, right? Sometimes people would think that you may want to prove yourself and say that you are more than just a pretty face. And so you end up overworking yourself to prove a point. And even birth order, we all know, especially with first ones, there's this immense pressure to succeed. And so you end up pushing forward the hustle culture. So I think that explains that it's both the economic systems, right, and our mindset, like that fuel those systems. Because we are basically the software for that hardware. Right. So now I'll continue by saying that our culture, when we go into just the economic and governance systems without the mindset part, we have culture, which also encompasses mindset. Then we have our history, our colonial history, right? And there were, okay, I'll go into that. And then we have the capacity to enforce the laws that we created. Then we have the informality of our labor markets, right? And the slow adoption of new technology, new processes, and even generational differences, right? I'll conclude by saying that this is a collective thing, right? There is a systems issue. Yes, there's a system flaw. However, there's also a mindset issue. And together, they push forward this hustle culture, right? So we should strive to build systems that reward substance over form, and systems that will enable the majority to hold one or two humanly sustainable jobs that will reward you fairly and help you or form a base for you to develop multiple streams of income in healthier ways. So, for example, rental income, investments, and side businesses that do not demand you to be constantly burnt out. So, thank you very much. That's my submission.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Thelma. Building systems that reward substance over form. Very profound. Very, very profound. And one way of ensuring absolute substance is through creativity. That's one of the way. And I'm so happy there's a creative rabbi in our midst. When it comes to creativity, Matthew is the guy. He's very good at what he does. So I would ask you, Matthew, for creatives and young entrepreneurs in Africa, the hustle never stops. It just keeps going all the time. And what I want to ask you is, how does this pressure affect creativity? Not only creativity, innovation, and even mental health. How does it affect us? Can you tell us all?
All right, thank you, Lambert, for this opportunity. I like the submissions of Thelma as well, talking about the systems and mindsets and drawing insights from trauma and privileges and need for validation. All these are connected to persons in the creative space as well. Need for validation for their work, the trauma, and the fear of failure, fear that their work or product will not be seen and appreciated. So you find lots of creatives putting in lots of efforts, spending the midnight candle, and doing quite a lot just to break through cholesterol. I would share an example of a good photographer having known him quite well, like unfortunately in the past, and so she was called Joseph Mills back in Tamale. Joseph Mills' work was good, and it was still good. This good. He could make his work excellent, storytelling excellent, his documentary work brilliant, and very creative. Unfortunately, Mills was found with his head on his laptop working through the night. And that sent some shockwaves to many of us, especially his family, that might his wife. It drew us to the point that somehow there's a need to rest. We all admired his work. We saw the energy, the passion of his work. But I think somehow we ignored or didn't prepare how much he was bending himself to produce all that. Diving into this question is to let us know that as creatives, working in any field, we need time to rest. Rest is important because it enables us to recalibrate, reorganize, create more, and to be more impactful with our work. Because when we rest, we are able to take a back seat to see how well our work has done, the life it has touched, and the impact it has brought. And increasingly, we see that burnout is happening even to many young people today, and leading to depression, illnesses, and so forth. So, regardless of how much we're trying to put in work, we need to exercise patience for our systems. We need to learn or understand our body and our system and to know when to push the brake button. Let's be more cautious in our spirit of creating. Let's be more cautious in our spirit of creating the vaccine.
Yeah, we
So
can hear you now.
I was just sharing a personal experience, because like I said, I come from the development space where we tend to, glorify overworking and sacrificing our personal time.
Right.
And so I personally, coming from the Mandela Washington Fellowship, where I gained a lot of experience and practical, knowledge from other organizations in the US, realized that I needed to be intentional with my time, especially personal time, weekends and after work hours, because sometimes in the development space, we end up carrying a lot of work home. And so I try to do that, and we were planning for some meetings, and one of the meetings was scheduled into the weekend, like weeks ahead of time. And so I did raise a concern, and I said, look, once it's ahead of time, can we plan effectively so that we are not coming into people's weekends? And of course, we did that. But at the end of the day, I got picked on in several ways at the workplace, because it was always, oh, some people say they can't work on weekends anymore. Some people say that we are, they'll just do it subtly, but somehow it ties to you being uncommitted. And sadly, this is the kind of workplace culture that we are creating, especially for people in so many spaces. And this was even when I was heavily pregnant and I had younger children as well. So I felt like, look, I needed to do a lot of things. But that is the challenge that a lot of professionals have to deal with. And so sometimes you are torn between, look, I really have to hustle, of course, for my own benefit, because you need to take care of yourself, but also because you want to keep proving that you are committed, you want to keep contributing to the impact and all that. But at the end of the day, there's a saying that you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? And so what it means is that the more you overwork, the more you multitask, and then you sacrifice your well-being. You might achieve some outputs in the short term, but in the long run, you might burn out yourself, and the impact we are looking after, we may not get it. And I think Matthew, when he was speaking, gave an example of a creative who passed away sadly, and because probably due to overworking himself and all that. And so for me, I've always asked myself, how do we make sure that one, we are doing what we love, we are taking care of ourselves and our family, we are making impact in our society and our community without burning out? How do we ensure that we are always able to do what we love doing, but still valuing rest and creating the needed boundaries that we need to? And like I said, I really love the fact that we are having this conversation. But I think that as we do this and we create awareness and advocate for ourselves, for people, we need to advocate for ourselves as well and see how we can create the balance, like what our speakers have said. And it starts with creating boundaries. Sometimes you just don't have to be guilty about saying no. It doesn't really matter, and eventually people will adjust, because sometimes you might be unfortunate to be in an environment where the leadership have that African mindset, and you are finding it difficult to help them to appreciate this mindset. And so you just have to be very intentional about your own boundaries, protect your rest time and your weekend, and see how you can continue advocating for improving the systems, so that at least at the end of the day, there will be some balance and we can have some flexibility, have some productivity. But at the end of the day, we are taking some time to rest and also take care of ourselves. So thank you so much for this event and also for the opportunity to contribute my experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is wisdom brewed in the pot of not only a beautiful woman, but a woman full of, my adjectives are done. But just as your name suggests, Blessila, you made us a blessing with your impeccable contribution. My take home from what you just said is protecting your boundaries, learning how to say no, because sometimes we don't know how to tell people it's okay, we're tired, we can't do beyond what you are requesting, and we keep pouring into people's lives without even focusing on our well-being. And I've just learned a lot from what you just said. You are an amazing person, and thanks for sharing this insightful contribution. If there's anyone else here who wants to contribute or say something, the floor is yours. We are not here just to also speak to you, our audience. The platform belongs to you as well, our audience. You can share in your thoughts. You can ask any question. If you don't have anything to share, but you want to get some clarity to the topic we are discussing on, feel free to ask. You can direct your question to any of us. Justice is here, Thelma is here, Mathew is here. They are resource people who can also come through with any question that you want to ask. And not only them, maybe a question that may be asked, there will be someone here who would be able to answer, just for us to leave with something dropping in the back of our ears, and that's something that I want us to know. So I will stay mute for people to either ask or contribute. Then if there's nothing, we'll just wrap it up.
Yes, I think Philip asked to speak. I think he's reconnecting, but Philip, if you are ready, you can contribute. Thank you.
I think Philip hasn't been made a speaker yet. He's still a listener. So I don't think it's connected. Yes. And so let me just give
I've made him a speaker.
a speaker. Oh, okay. It shows he has
Yes.
listened.
Oh, okay. Maybe I will look at it again.
Okay. So I'll briefly introduce Philip.
Okay.
He's a lawyer, but he's a litigant. Okay, and he works with Mathew Ayong Partners. So I'm sure whatever he has to say would be as interesting as what Blessila and everybody else has had to say on this call. Thank you very much.
Nice one. We want the litigation specialist.
I wish you could speak
Philip,
for us to
if you
listen.
can join us.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make you a speaker again.
I don't know why I can't make him a speaker here, but I'm glad you can. And my co-hosts, if you aside Justice, if there's someone, either Thelma, Mathew, if you can check, in case you can make
I'm
it.
inviting Philip to speak. I think he should be speaking shortly. While he's not speaking yet, I think maybe it's a network issue.
Okay. But thank you so much, Blessila, because it is insightful one. I just as I mentioned, my take home is learning how to say no. When you mention it, it hits me like thunder because we are always available for people, and sometimes you don't know how to, set boundaries. The fear of being a bad person or not a good friend at the expense of our health is something that happens all the time, and you draw attention to it. I feel people should come into cognizance that boundaries are really important in our lives because if we don't set boundaries and we keep being there for people as they need our hustle in our way and we always, deliver at the expense of our health is something that is alarming. So once again, thanks. Thanks so much. Blessila made us a blessing. Thanks. That's bass, right?
That's my nigga. That's my nigga. Thelma, if you can prompt Philip to rejoin, I think his network is bad.
Yes, I think it's his network because even on WhatsApp, it's just one tick.
Okay.
So while I'd like to say thank you very much, everybody, to everyone for joining. Blessila, Lambert, obviously, Mathew, Justice. We have Noah in here, the latest lecturer at Gimpa Law Faculty. Thank you so much, Dave. Hey, he's a hustler, chief hustler. He's into mining, he's into oil, he's into everything, And then we have Kepo. Thank you very much. Ohima, thank you. EA, God bless you. Amwa, thank you. And my namesake, Thelma. Thank you very much. I'd like to meet you after this if it's okay. Then Jeffrey and Moses, thank you so much.
And that took up. He's a procurement specialist based in Canada. A very good friend of mine. Yes, your class actually. So he's also on the call. Thank you guys for coming.
And with your namesake, with Thelma's namesake, I would have to personally say thank you to her because she was the first person to join the program and she has stayed up to now. This is the second link for those who just joined or who are now on this particular link. We had a first link, the network just broke down, so we had to create a different link. We were going up the numbers and all of a sudden, nature took its course and we had to leave and create this link. And she joined again to listen. And we imagine we have about 100 people committed to this course. It will be something big for us. So thank you, Thelma, for being active listener on this interesting topic. That being said, my colleague mentioned everybody's name to acknowledge your listenership and we don't take it for granted. Just continue to monitor this space, keep following us, follow this page. We have a lot to give you because you are our people and we believe you are our tribe and we are your tribe. So just stay, logged in on this page, keep following, and let's not end this conversation here. Let's take it to wherever we go. Let's make it our gospel. Let's make it our Bible. Let's make people know that it's really important to rest. It's really important to, take a break. We are not demeaning hustling. Hustling is, even the Bible says, hands that doesn't work doesn't eat. So it's good to work. But what we are saying is we should create a balance. And we would make it a wrap by saying thank you so much. Thank you all for joining this conversation. And, the diverse perspective, as I mentioned today, remind us about, why it's important. And I would just leave it for my speakers to give their last words, then we will end it. So Justice Thelma Mathew, if you have any last words, the floor is yours.
Thelma, go first.
Justice. Okay, so I just wanted to apologize to those trying to connect. So Council Nyako is trying to connect. A few other people wanted to ask questions. Unfortunately, for some reason, it's not working, but that's okay. I would like to conclude by saying that um, I basically am challenging everybody, right? If we can all collectively rewire our core beliefs and our systems, our culture to value innovation and substance over struggle, then maybe the coming generations will not inherit this hustle culture, but they will inherit a culture of sustainable progress. If because I think this shows up even in marriage and all that. If you are not struggling, then you're not doing it right, you know. So let's push towards sustainability and progress and actual results as opposed to just the appearance of suffering and the appearance of burdens. Okay. And we all hope that as it stands now, while we still hustle, that our hustles pay off. Thank you.
Well, no wonder the sapiosexuals on this page are crashing on you. You are full of wisdom, and they would keep coming. So thanks for this.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Justice, you have the floor, and Matthew as well, my good friend.
Yes, thank you so much. So all we are actually saying is that we should prioritize our well-being in the space of grinding. Let us not just work to make a living, but let's work to make life worth living. I'll leave it on that note. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Matthew, you have the floor if you can hear us. Your last words.
My last words. It's 4 minutes to beer time. Just hurry up. Anyway,
Last time.
that's just to say that whilst we try to do what we love and work, let's make time to actually reflect, re-strategize, work, reflect, re-strategize, and make sure to have time to buy yourself that favorite drink. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew. We know it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday, so we are wrapping up. And guys, as the saying goes, never get too busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Let that be a reminder as you move forward, please. This won't be the last conversation, and it's for sure. You'll be creating space that challenges norms and inspire new ways of thinking. So make sure to follow my page and make sure you make it your place to go for more exciting discussions ahead. And I'm begging you for that. Please follow this page. And let's keep this conversation alive beyond this space. Share your thoughts of it, and please stories of it and the reflections. Use the hashtag beyond the hustle. Until next time, guys, remember balance is power. Thank you so much for your time. I don't take it for granted. So it's a bye for now. Thank you.
Okay, just a
Yeah.
quick one, please. If you have any contact on here, whoever may have invited you, or like if you saw it somewhere, you could kindly drop the person a message with your LinkedIn or your social media handle or something, so that we all network and connect. Because you know that networking is also very important, and it will also help us to break this hustle culture one day. It's good to have a collection of people that have similar beliefs and then have a similar goal. So it would be nice to network with all of you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, follow us, especially Thelma. Follow Thelma, please. So thank you. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so bye for now.